Hi everyone, Karsten Runquist here. Now, some of you may know one of my favorite TV shows of all time, if not my absolute favorite, is Breaking Bad. This isn't a very unpopular opinion either. Breaking Bad has been widely known by most people who watched it as being one of the greatest shows to ever air. Its use of cinematography, the suspense of its writing, combined with some incredibly interesting editing, topped off with some absolutely mind-blowingly believable performances, made for a very immersive show that you couldn't seem to stop thinking about. Thank you Thesaurus.com for that sentence. But like most good things nowadays, people can't seem to let it go because it's been officially announced that a Breaking Bad movie is in the works. I guess the world is just such a shitty place nowadays that the only way to bring in anything good is to modernize content from the past. And here's the thing, I complain about this a lot. I complain a lot in general about the shit show we call the movie industry because, frankly, I want it to get better. And due to the excessive amount of negative content on my channel recently, I've thought a bit harder about if a video topic is something even worth complaining about. And here's the thing, Breaking Bad is something that, as some of you may know, means a lot to me, more than most movies actually, so I figured that being this is something that actually does worry me, and not something to just say for views, it may be worth addressing, especially considering so many people are actually not very concerned about it. Now, there's understandably very little information about this movie, but anyone who has seen the entire series can pretty easily figure out where it's going. Also, I suppose now is a good time to say there are most definitely going to be some Breaking Bad spoilers in this video. Vince Gilligan says the film will follow the escape of a kidnapped man in his quest for freedom. This kidnapped man is obviously Jesse at the end of the final episode of Breaking Bad, and if there were any doubts, Aaron Paul confirmed that's basically the case. It can be assumed that this film will basically be what happened after Jesse crashed through the gates, and that's enough to make me mad. I am someone who loves a perfect mix of ambiguity and satisfying wrap-up, which is exactly what the final episode of Breaking Bad was. Gilligan left us with so few questions that felt unanswered, but gave us one giant idea to think about and discuss for years to come. What happened to Jesse? Ambiguity is what keeps the legacy of a certain piece of film or TV alive for so long. I still talk about the ending of the show with my friends sometimes and discuss where Jesse went and did with his life based on the many clues and theories the show gave us to build off of. Think about something like 2001: A Space Odyssey. If Kubrick had made a follow-up film or short film essentially explaining the ending, wouldn't that have ruined the beauty of it? I personally don't think this is much different. This ambiguity also sometimes lets the viewer feel like they are a part of the story by allowing us to add our own theories as to what happens. It becomes much more than just a movie that ends when the credits roll. It's something the viewer can latch onto, think about for days, and never fully let go of because they'll never truly know the answer. The moment I have 100% closure from Breaking Bad, which I'm assuming I'll get from this film, I can safely put Breaking Bad behind me, and I don't want to do that. It honestly doesn't make any sense whatsoever to me why someone as smart as Vince Gilligan would go ahead and do this. I already have Better Call Saul to keep me invested in this world and story without ruining what happens in the end, so why would I even need this movie? My own little theory is that Aaron Paul hasn't had anything ridiculously successful since Breaking Bad besides BoJack Horseman and a few small movies, and he needs the money, but that's a stupid assumption, we can just move on. What I really want to address is this. Breaking Bad is a show that strives entirely on the idea of someone, get this, breaking bad. Like, for this show to work and for suspense to be there, somebody in the show needs to break bad, you know? It happens with Walt in the original Breaking Bad, and it happens with Saul in Better Call Saul. This means that for this film to be any good or to work as a successful and entertaining movie, Jesse needs to break bad in some way, or something needs to go wrong. But being that this film is expected to be 2 hours long, that thing is going to have to be pretty minor and not very significant for it to happen and then get solved in that small amount of runtime. I don't want to see Jesse get addicted to meth again or start using and selling and then fall out of it all within the span of 2 hours. Either that or he'll break bad and never get fixed and it'll leave open-ended. But that's just stupid because then it really narrows down a lot of the fun that came with theorizing what'll happen. Because if he doesn't break bad and the entire 2 hours of this film is just answers to unanswered questions from the finale and following Jesse around, that's going to feel so forced, pointless, boring, and not exciting the way the show was. Also, Walt is gone, Gus is gone, Hank is gone, Mike is gone. The people that made the show what it is and brought a sense of tension are all gone. This means that for this film to be at all tense or have any sort of consequences, they're probably going to have to introduce some new people, and it's got like less than 2 hours to make us care about them on that level, and it's just so stupid. It's like where these new supers got introduced in The Incredibles 2, like nobody cares about you. If this were an entire new spin-off series that focuses only on Jesse, then maybe I'd be a little less worried, although then it'd just feel like a new Breaking Bad season. But considering Vince only has 2 hours to work with here, and it's a film, I find it's going to take a lot of really tight writing to make this work work and to make it worth it. And that's the thing. I do trust Vince Gilligan. This is no hate towards him or anybody involved in the show. I think they're all incredibly talented. He has proven to be a pretty damn good writer 2 times now, but again, those have both been TV shows, not films. I'm of course going to watch the film regardless, and I do understand it's a little ridiculous to analyze something this early on, but again, I care a lot about Breaking Bad. It's just one of my favorite things in general, and I just don't want to lose that excitement because Aaron Paul needs money.
How did it work out? I'm so sorry.